Our planet is a tapestry of wonders, woven with threads of history, nature, and human ingenuity. We have scaled the highest peaks and plumbed the deepest oceans, driven by an insatiable curiosity to see what lies beyond the next horizon. Yet, for all our exploration, there remain pockets of this world that are deliberately kept from us, veiled in secrecy and guarded by law or nature itself. These are not mere destinations on a map, but realms where time seems to stand still, where ancient secrets are preserved, or where nature is reclaiming its dominion, free from our influence. They are places of profound significance, holding keys to our past, our future, and the very essence of the wild. Access is denied not to spite our curiosity, but to protect what is fragile, what is sacred, or what is simply too dangerous to approach. These restrictions create an aura of profound mystery, a sense of exclusivity that only deepens our fascination. What secrets lie behind these closed doors? What stories are held within these silent landscapes? The allure of the forbidden is a powerful one, beckoning us to imagine what we cannot witness firsthand. It's time to begin. Join me while we take a look at 15 forbidden places that you're not allowed to visit. We will journey, in spirit, to the corners of the earth, peering over the fences and across the exclusion zones to understand why these remarkable locations must remain untouched. Our journey is one of respect and wonder, a privileged glimpse into a world that exists just beyond our reach, a world that thrives in its own solitude. Deep within the rolling hills of southwestern France lies a time capsule, a subterranean gallery that whispers tales from the very dawn of human consciousness. Discovered in 1940 by a group of teenagers, the Lascaux Caves revealed a breathtaking panorama of Paleolithic art. Here, over 600 paintings of majestic bulls, stags, and horses dance across the limestone walls, their forms rendered with a sophistication that defied all expectations of our ancient ancestors. For a brief period, this prehistoric Sistine Chapel was open to the world, a window into a past some 17,000 years old. The influx of visitors, however, brought with it an invisible yet devastating threat. The carbon dioxide from human breath, the heat from artificial lights, and the introduction of foreign microbes began to irrevocably damage these priceless works. Algae and fungi started to bloom across the ancient pigments, threatening to erase these masterpieces forever. The very act of witnessing this history was contributing to its destruction. It became painfully clear that our presence, however well-intentioned, was a corrosive force in this delicate, sealed environment. Reluctantly, but necessarily, the caves were closed to the public in 1963. Today, access is limited to a handful of scientists who monitor the cave's fragile climate with painstaking care. To share its wonders without causing further harm, a meticulous replica, Lascaux II, was created nearby, allowing us to experience the majesty of the art without endangering the original. The real cave now rests in a monitored silence, a sacred space preserved for posterity, a powerful reminder that sometimes the greatest act of appreciation is to leave a wonder untouched. There are places on Earth so beautiful they seem to belong to the realm of fiction. Maya Bay, nestled within the Phi Phi Lay Island in Thailand, is one such place. Its cinematic fame was sealed when it served as the idyllic, hidden paradise in the film The Beach. The world saw its crescent of white sand, its towering limestone karsts draped in green, and its impossibly turquoise waters, and the world wanted to come. And come they did. The bay, once a secluded jewel, became a global tourist hotspot. At its peak, thousands of visitors descended upon this small cove each day. Dozens of speedboats churned its clear waters, their anchors dragging across the delicate seabed, shattering the coral reefs that were the foundation of this marine ecosystem. The sheer volume of human traffic, the sunscreen slicking the water's surface, and the noise pollution drove away the native blacktip reef sharks and other marine life. The paradise that everyone had come to see was, quite literally, being loved to death, its natural beauty crumbling under the weight of its own popularity. In 2018, Thai authorities made a drastic but vital decision. Maya Bay was closed indefinitely. The closure was a desperate act of conservation, a chance for nature to heal from the relentless onslaught. In the quiet that followed, the ecosystem began a slow, tentative recovery. Coral is being replanted, and the sharks, the bay's original inhabitants, have started to return to the sheltered waters. The story of Maya Bay is a sobering lesson in the impact of mass tourism, a stark illustration that even the most breathtaking corners of our world have a breaking point. In the heart of a sacred forest in Japan's Mie Prefecture stands the Ise Grand Shrine, or Ise Jingu. This is not merely a building, but the spiritual heart of the Shinto faith, Japan's indigenous religion. Dedicated to the sun goddess Amaterasu, the shrine complex is considered the holiest site in the country. Its architecture is a masterclass in ancient Japanese design, pure and simple, constructed from solid cypress wood using interlocking joints without a single nail. It embodies a profound connection between the divine, nature, and humanity. What makes this place truly unique and forbidden is its philosophy of renewal. Every 20 years, in a tradition dating back over a millennium, the main shrine buildings are painstakingly dismantled and rebuilt on an adjacent, identical plot of land. This ritual, known as Shikinen Sengu, symbolizes the Shinto belief in the death and renewal of nature and the impermanence of all things. It is a monumental undertaking that ensures ancient building techniques are passed down through generations of master carpenters, preserving a living history. Access to the innermost sanctums is extraordinarily restricted. Only the chief priest or priestess, who must be a member of the Japanese imperial family, is permitted to enter. The public can only glimpse the thatched roofs of the central structures from behind several layers of wooden fences. We are not meant to see what lies within. Its sanctity is protected by its invisibility. The Grand Shrine of Ise is a place of immense spiritual power. Its exclusivity not a sign of exclusion, but a profound act of reverence for the divine. Off the coast of South Carolina lies an island that is, for all intents and purposes, ruled by monkeys. Morgan Island, which is often called Monkey Island, is home to a sprawling colony of several thousand rhesus macaques. These monkeys aren't actually native to the Americas. Their story, well, it starts back in the 1970s at a research center in Puerto Rico. There, a growing monkey colony, some of which were carriers of the herpes B virus, posed a potential health risk to the local human population. So, a new isolated home was needed. The state of South Carolina, offered Morgan Island as a solution. In 1979, over 1,400 monkeys were relocated to this uninhabited 4,500-acre landmass. Here they've really thrived, creating a self-sustaining wild colony. The island now provides a natural, free-ranging environment for these animals, who are owned by the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases. They're actually a vital resource for biomedical research, contributing to the development of vaccines and treatments for human diseases, including AIDS, and more recently, COVID-19. Because these monkeys can potentially carry diseases transmissible to humans, the island is strictly off-limits to the public. Federal law prohibits anyone from setting foot on its shores. Only researchers with specific permits and protective gear are allowed to visit, periodically managing the colony and conducting their vital work. For the rest of us, the island can only be observed from a distance, maybe by boat. Its shores a strange and fascinating spectacle of a primate society flourishing in an alien landscape, a living laboratory closed for the sake of public health. Rising dramatically from the flat red earth of the Australian outback is Uluru, a colossal sandstone monolith that seems to glow with an inner fire at sunrise and sunset. For tens of thousands of years, this has been a place of deep spiritual significance to the local indigenous people, the Anangu. It's not just a rock, it's a living cultural landscape, the physical manifestation of the Chukurpa, the ancestral law and stories that form the foundation of their society. The caves, springs, and fissures of Uluru are actually chapters in this sacred narrative. For decades, despite the Anangu's wishes, climbing Uluru became, honestly, a pretty popular tourist activity. A metal chain was even installed in 1964 to help climbers up its steep face. But to the Anangu, this was an act of profound disrespect, kind of like someone climbing over a cathedral or a sacred altar. The climb was also physically dangerous, with numerous injuries and, sadly, dozens of fatalities over the years. On top of that, the foot traffic caused erosion, and the lack of facilities up there led to pollution that contaminated the water holes below, which are super important for the area's wildlife. In 2017, after a long and patient campaign by the Anangu people, the board of the Uluru Kata Chuda National Park voted unanimously to close the climb permanently. The ban came into effect in October 2019, on the anniversary of the day the land was officially handed back to its traditional owners. Today, visitors are encouraged to connect with the site in a more respectful way by walking the base trail and learning about its cultural importance. The closure of the climb really marks a pivotal moment, a recognition that some places aren't for conquering, but for revering. In the remote Ural Mountains of Russia, nestled between two peaks, lies the town of Mezhgori. Unlike other towns, you won't find it on most maps, and you definitely can't book a holiday there. Mezhgori is a closed town, a relic of the Soviet era where residency and travel are, strictly controlled by the Russian government. Its very existence is shrouded in a thick veil of secrecy. Established in 1979, its population consists of people working on a mysterious, large-scale project deep within the mountains. Speculation about the purpose of Mezhgori is rampant, fueled by satellite imagery and Cold War-era suspicions. It's widely believed to be the site of a massive underground complex, possibly a nuclear command and control bunker, designed to allow Russia's leadership to survive and retaliate in the event of a nuclear war. Some theories even suggest it could be a repository for national treasures, a vast storehouse for strategic materials, or the location of an advanced weapons program. The Russian government has given vague statements suggesting it's a mining site or a food storage area, but these explanations really do little to quell the intrigue. What is certain is that the entire area is off limits. The town and the surrounding mountains, including Mount Yamantau, are guarded by the military. Any unauthorized approach is met with a swift response. Mezhgori represents one of the world's most impenetrable black spots, a place where state secrecy is absolute. Its purpose remains a classified secret, a geopolitical enigma carved into the heart of the mountains, forever closed to the prying eyes of the outside world. In the Andaman Archipelago, in the vastness of the Bay of Bengal, there is an island that remains almost completely untouched by the modern world. North Sentinel Island is home to the Sentinelese, one of the last uncontacted peoples on Earth. They are a hunter-gatherer society, believed to have lived in near-total isolation for as long as 60,000 years. Their language, their culture, and their way of life are a mystery, a direct link to a past that the rest of humanity has long since left behind. The Sentinelese have made their wishes clear through their actions. They want to be left alone. Nearly every attempt at contact, whether friendly or accidental, has been met with hostility. They have been known to fire arrows at approaching boats and helicopters that fly too low. This fierce protection of their isolation is not born of mindless aggression, but likely from a deep-seated understanding of the threat outsiders pose. Contact could introduce common diseases like the flu or measles, to which they would have no immunity, potentially wiping out their entire population. In recognition of their vulnerability and their expressed desire for solitude, the Indian government has established a 3-mile exclusion zone around the island. It is illegal to approach, and the law is strictly enforced to protect both the Sentinelese from us and potential visitors from their predictable and defensive response. North Sentinel Island is a rare and precious example of a people living in complete autonomy, a sovereign human world that we have a moral obligation to leave undisturbed, a living testament to the fact that not all the world needs to be known by us. Carved by the patient hand of nature over millions of years, the Pravchika Brana in the Bohemian Switzerland National Park is a breathtaking sight. It is the largest natural sandstone arch in Europe, a delicate and majestic bridge of rock spanning nearly 27 meters. For over a century, this natural wonder was a major tourist attraction. Visitors flocked to walk across its spine, to stand atop the arch and gaze out at the stunning landscape of sandstone towers and verdant forests. A charming guest house, the Falcon's Nest, was even built at its base in 1881 to accommodate the crowds. However, the very thing that made it so popular, the foot traffic, was also its greatest threat. Each footstep, however light, contributed to the erosion of the soft sandstone. Scientists and conservationists began to notice accelerated weathering and the formation of cracks. The constant vibration and pressure were slowly but surely weakening the arch's structure. It became clear that if this continued, the magnificent arch would be at risk of an eventual catastrophic collapse. The monument was, quite literally, being worn away by admiration. To preserve this geological masterpiece for future generations to admire, a difficult decision was made in 1982. Authorities banned visitors from walking on top of the arch. Today, you can still visit and marvel at its grandeur, but only from designated viewing platforms below. This restriction ensures the arch's stability, allowing the natural process of erosion to proceed at its own, much slower pace. Pravchika Brana stands as a quiet monument to the need for proactive conservation, a reminder that we must sometimes keep our distance to protect the very beauty we seek. Deep in the desolate Nevada desert lies a place that has become synonymous with government secrecy and extraterrestrial conspiracies: Area 51. Officially known as Homey Airport or Groom Lake, it is a highly classified detachment of Edwards Air Force Base. Its existence was only publicly acknowledged by the CIA in 2013. For decades, its purpose has been the development and testing of advanced top-secret aircraft. The U-2 spy plane, the SR-71 Blackbird, and the F-117 Nighthawk stealth fighter were all put through their paces here, far from public view. The intense secrecy surrounding the base, combined with reports of strange lights and unidentified flying objects in the sky above, has made it a global epicenter for UFO folklore. Conspiracy theories abound, suggesting the facility is used to store, examine, and reverse engineer crashed alien spacecraft, including the one famously alleged to have crashed at Roswell. These tales of hidden aliens and futuristic technology have embedded Area 51 deep within popular culture, transforming it from a simple military base into a modern myth. Needless to say, Area 51 is one of the most heavily guarded places on Earth. The perimeter is marked by orange posts and stark warning signs, explicitly authorizing the use of deadly force against trespassers. The area is monitored by motion sensors, long-range cameras, and heavily armed guards in white pickup trucks, affectionately known as camo dudes. The airspace above is a no-fly zone. Any attempt to get a closer look is impossible, ensuring that whatever secrets are held within its hangars remain just that, secret. In November of 1963, off the southern coast of Iceland, fishermen witnessed a remarkable event: the birth of an island. A plume of smoke and ash rose from the sea, heralding a volcanic eruption from 130 meters below the surface. Over the next 3.5 years, molten lava and tephra slowly built up, eventually forming a new landmass, which was named Surtsey after Surtur, the fire giant of Norse mythology. When the eruption ceased in 1967, a brand new island, raw and sterile, sat in the middle of the ocean. Scientists immediately recognized the unique opportunity Surtsey presented. It was a pristine natural laboratory, a blank slate upon which they could observe the process of colonization by plant and animal life from the very beginning. How does life arrive on a barren piece of rock? How do ecosystems form and evolve without any human interference? To protect the integrity of this unprecedented experiment, the island was declared a nature reserve, and access was forbidden to the general public from its inception. Only a small number of approved researchers are permitted to set foot on Surtsey. They must follow strict protocols to avoid accidentally introducing any foreign seeds or organisms. Any structures built for research are temporary and minimal. Over the decades, they have watched as the first seeds arrived, carried by wind and sea currents. They have documented the arrival of insects, seals, and a thriving population of nesting seabirds, whose guano has helped to fertilize the volcanic soil. Surtsey is a priceless window into the processes of life itself, its isolation essential for the purity of the knowledge it provides. Off the coast of São Paulo, Brazil, lies a small, rugged island that seems innocuous from a distance. But Ilha da Queimada Grande has earned a far more terrifying nickname: Snake Island. This place is forbidden for one simple, chilling reason. It is infested with one of the most venomous snakes in the world, the golden lancehead pit viper. This species is found nowhere else on Earth, having been trapped on the island thousands of years ago when rising sea levels cut it off from the mainland. With no ground-level predators and a plentiful food source of migratory birds, the snake population exploded. Current estimates suggest there is, on average, at least one deadly snake for every square meter of the island. The golden lancehead's venom is horrifyingly potent. It is 5 times stronger than that of its mainland relatives and can melt human flesh. A bite can cause kidney failure, internal bleeding, and death within an hour. The island is so dangerous that the Brazilian Navy has expressly forbidden anyone from landing there. The only people ever granted permission to visit are a handful of brave scientists and researchers who study the vipers, and even they must be accompanied by a doctor. Local legends tell terrifying stories of the last lighthouse keeper and his family who perished on the island, and fishermen who strayed too close. Snake Island is a stark example of nature's power, an evolutionary crucible that has produced a creature so deadly that an entire landmass has been surrendered to it. It is a place where humans are, without question, not at the top of the food chain. In the serene waters of the Venetian lagoon, a short distance from the bustling canals of Venice, lies the small abandoned island of Poveglia. Its tranquil appearance belies a dark and disturbing history that has earned it the reputation as one of the most haunted places on Earth. Poveglia's grim story began during the Roman era when it was used to isolate plague victims from the general population. This role was grimly reprised centuries later during the bubonic plague, when it became a massive quarantine colony. Tens of thousands of dying and infected Venetians were shipped to the island to die, their bodies burned in giant pits. It is said that the soil of Poveglia is composed of more than 50% human ash and bone. The island became a veritable necropolis, a place synonymous with death and suffering. Its macabre history didn't end there. In the 1920s, a mental hospital was built on the island. Legend tells of a doctor who performed cruel experiments and lobotomies on the patients before being driven mad by the island's ghosts and throwing himself from the bell tower. After the hospital closed in 1968, the island was completely abandoned. Today, it is strictly off-limits to visitors. The Italian government forbids tourism, and local fishermen give its shores a wide berth, fearful of the ghosts that are said to haunt the decaying buildings and of catching human bones in their nets. Poveglia rests in a state of eerie decay, its soil saturated with tragedy, a place so steeped in death and sorrow that it has been left to its ghosts. Deep inside a mountain on the remote Norwegian island of Spitsbergen, halfway between mainland Norway and the North Pole, lies a modern-day Noah's Ark. But this ark doesn't hold animals. It holds the future of humanity's food supply. The Svalbard Global Seed Vault is a fail-safe facility designed to protect the world's agricultural biodiversity from any conceivable global catastrophe, whether it's nuclear war, climate change, disease, or even an asteroid impact. It's, honestly, the ultimate insurance policy for our planet's crops. Carved 120 meters into the permafrost-covered sandstone mountain, the vault's location was chosen for its geological stability and its natural refrigeration. The permafrost ensures that even if the facility's cooling systems were to fail, the seeds would remain frozen and viable for centuries, maybe even millennia. The vault has the capacity to store 4.5 million varieties of crops. Right now, it holds over 1 million samples, duplicates of seeds from gene banks all around the world, representing a staggering diversity of food crops from almost every country. Access to the vault is, by necessity, extremely limited. It's not a tourist destination. Only designated researchers and gene bank employees involved in depositing seeds are permitted to enter the heavily fortified steel doors. The vault is only opened a few times a year to accept new shipments. This is not a place of mystery in the same vein as Area 51, but one of profound global importance. Its exclusivity is a function of its purpose, to be a silent, frozen guardian, a bastion of hope for humanity's long-term survival, locked away in the Arctic cold. Within the walls of Vatican City, the smallest independent state in the world, lies one of the most enigmatic and coveted libraries on Earth, the Vatican Apostolic Archive. The name Secret Archives is actually a slight mistranslation of the Latin Archivum Secretum, which more accurately means personal or private archive, indicating that it is the personal property of the Pope. It's not just a single library, but a vast repository containing an estimated 85 kilometers or 53 miles of shelving housing millions of documents spanning 12 centuries of human history. The archives contain the state papers, correspondence, papal account books, and countless other documents that the Church has accumulated over the ages. These are not just religious texts. They are records of immense historical significance. From Henry VIII's plea to have his marriage to Catherine of Aragon annulled, to letters from Michelangelo and transcripts from the trial of Galileo Galilei, it's a priceless chronicle of politics, culture, and science as seen through the eyes of the Holy See. While the secret label conjures images of forbidden knowledge and conspiracy, access is possible but incredibly difficult and restricted. It's not open to the general public. Only highly qualified scholars, after a rigorous vetting process, can request access to specific documents. They're not allowed to browse the shelves. They must request items in advance, and they're only allowed to view a few documents per day under strict supervision. The archives are a bastion of history, its secrets guarded not to hide the truth, but to preserve the fragile records of our collective past. In the middle of New York City's East River, within sight of the bustling Bronx shoreline, lies a place of eerie silence and decay, North Brother Island. This 20-acre island has a history as a place of quarantine and isolation. Back in the late 19th century, a hospital was established here to house patients with contagious diseases like smallpox and tuberculosis. Its most famous resident was Typhoid Mary Mallon, an asymptomatic carrier of typhoid fever, who was forcibly quarantined on the island for the last 2 decades of her life until her death in 1938. After World War II, the island was briefly used to house war veterans and their families, and later, it became a treatment center for teenage drug addicts. But the facility was plagued by corruption and high rates of relapse, and it was finally shut down in 1963. Since then, the island has been completely abandoned. The hospital buildings, dormitories, and homes have been left to the elements, slowly crumbling and being reclaimed by a surprisingly dense forest that has grown up in the intervening decades. Today, North Brother Island is a protected bird sanctuary, managed by the New York City Parks Department. It's home to one of the area's largest nesting colonies of black-crowned night herons and other wading birds. Due to the dangerous state of the decaying buildings and the need to protect the nesting wildlife, the island is permanently closed to the public. It remains a ghostly and fascinating ruin in the heart of one of the world's busiest cities, a poignant monument to a history of sickness and solitude, now given over entirely to nature. Our journey through these forbidden realms comes to a close. From the sacred silence of ancient caves to the deadly shores of a snake-infested island, we've seen that the reasons for exclusion are as varied as the places themselves. They're locked away to preserve fragile art, to allow nature to heal, to protect sacred traditions, or to guard secrets of state. In some cases, the locks are there to protect us from the dangers within. In others, they're there to protect the place from the dangers we bring with us. These locations challenge our modern assumption that everything should be accessible, that every corner of the world is a potential destination. They remind us that there is value in restraint, in reverence, and in allowing some mysteries to remain unsolved. The world is not simply a playground for our curiosity. The existence of these forbidden places adds a layer of depth and wonder to our planet, knowing that there are still realms that operate on their own terms, beyond our reach and influence. Their stories are powerful, even when, or maybe especially because, they are witnessed from afar. These are just a few of the world's most forbidden places. Which one would you risk it all to see? Let us know in the comments below. The very act of choosing reveals something about what we value, be it history, nature, adventure, or the allure of a well-kept secret. For now, we must be content to wonder, to respect the boundaries, and to appreciate the wildness and the sanctity that thrives in the world's most exclusive corners.